Welcome to the Diabetes Nerd Podcast. I am here today with my friend BJ Garceau, also
Hello.
known as Billie Jean. No, Bobby Jean.
I can't
Billie
believe you
Jean.
got. Oh my! Well, first of all, I just want to say this. I used to work at a club. I used to be a bouncer at a club, and they would actually play "Billie Jean" by Michael Jackson when I would walk down the stairs.
Awesome.
So you're not that far off.
That's funny.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Me, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah?
Other than was just telling you, I have a problem with rage-bolusing. If my blood sugar has some arrows and it goes above, and anyway, so don't mind me sipping on this wonderful smoothie.
So did you rage bolus and now you're paying the consequences? Are you crashing?
A little bit, but not to the
Let me see
point.
what
Like
at.
I'm working.
I'm low actually right now. Shoot.
Well, heck, we need to get you some high fat, high protein.
This is pro podcasting. I'm gonna carry this into the kitchen because I don't have any snacks at my desk right now. And I'm gonna take you with me to go get a clementine.
That's okay. And well, this also shows about diabetes doesn't care. Like diabetes doesn't
Yeah.
care that if you are recording a podcast. Diabetes doesn't care that you are trying to cut some calories or things like that. Diabetes, like, you know what?
Yep.
I think right now is the best time once you hit record
Yeah.
to show that you might be dropping and drop you a little bit. Yeah.
Yep. Here we go. I'm gonna do it.
So we're both we're both dropping a little bit, and here we are.
Great.
Yeah.
Podcast where both hosts have low blood sugar.
Seriously, it's true though.
A mouthful of clementine.
Good for you. No apples with peanut butter.
You can
nothing
go
like
through
that.
my, this is my kids' Barbie playroom. What a disaster. This is the scariest. This place is in my nightmares. So, anyway.
Please don't trip over any Barbie.
Okay. Boy, I'm sure, like, pro podcasters right now would be like, oh my God, hit pause and edit. But we don't edit. We really
we
try
don't
to
do that
avoid
here.
editing. Yeah.
We don't do that here.
Yeah.
No. And I'm trying to be more mindful about that. So I appreciate all of our listeners and viewers and whatnot for
This is
our
real life.
shenanigans. But,
Real
but the
life
one
with
thing I will
diabetes.
say, and I just want to thank our listeners and people, is that they really enjoy the fact that we don't edit. They like the friendship and the things because we get
Do
silly.
they enjoy that? Good.
Yeah, we get silly, and I often hear from people. I'll get comments or messages like, "I just really genuinely enjoy you and Ginger's friendship."
Great.
And the fact that, so I just wanted to say thank you for being a friend.
Boy. So, boy, there's a lot of things we wanted to talk about today, but we're going to talk about relationships. And there's, like your relationship, you have been with your wife for years. She knows your diabetes really well,
She does
right?
very well. Yes,
And
very well.
I am newly dating a fella who is just starting to learn about my diabetes.
Well, I think that's great. He's very handsome, by the way.
Very
I love it when you
handsome,
send me
yeah.
photos. And so, with that being said, I just am curious. How is that going? The dating, because and you're a very funny woman. I don't know if anyone, and I want to always bring this up because I feel like you have to have a sense of humor and a dark sense of humor with diabetes. Because I mean, let's face it, diabetes is a very serious disease. Like, we all know the dangers of it. We all know the highs, the lows.
Yeah.
And
We
for
don't-
people who don't know this disease, like this new tall, handsome glass of water, I might add that you're drinking.
No, there's no shush.
There's no
You
shush
make me
here.
blush. Yeah.
I just so happy for you because I love seeing you seeing. I'm one of your cheerleaders. So tell
you.
me because I'm kind of desensitized to it now. I've been with my wife for years, almost. I think I'm looking at 13 years.
Yeah.
And I remember what it was like. So how is
Trying
it
to
going
teach
for
someone
you?
about diabetes? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't, people ask me, like, I've been asked by younger people, well, when do you tell someone you have diabetes? And I'm like, I don't know, in like second 3, right? Like I don't hide anything. And if I can, I feel like have we talked about this before? Or
We have a little bit, because I think I
Yeah.
shared the story about how my first date with my wife is I didn't get a chance to tell her about diabetes. Diabetes was kind of like, you need to tell her because you look like an alcoholic drinking sugary drinks at the bar.
Right.
And then I was sweating and I was confused and I'm sitting there like pouring.
I don't remember that story at all.
Oh my gosh. So my wife's first date, me and my wife's first date, I showed up earlier than her. And I wasn't on a CGM. I was doing manual injections, which mad respect to you. But I was not as in tune with it as you are. And so I was having one of those low blood sugars where you're sweating, you're shaking, you're confused. And
At the start of your date?
I showed up at the bar waiting for her. And she walked in on me, literally handing an empty glass of a sugary drink and being like, I need another one, quick.
Oh.
And I had sweat coming down my face, and she was just watching me.
Oh, no.
And so I just remember, because I grew up with an alcoholic father. I was a substance abuse counselor. I've worked with alcoholics directly, and I know what the withdrawal symptoms look like. I've had dinner with alcoholics. And so she's standing behind me, and I turn around, and here I am sweating, and I was like, oh my God, it's not what it looks like. I'm a diabetic. So anyways,
funny.
that's how I had to tell my wife I was a diabetic, experienced an extreme sugar low on our first date.
That's so funny. Yeah. Well, there you go. That's one way to do it.
Yeah. So anyways, so we're going back to how
Yeah.
are you introducing such a disease to
I mean, the
to this
tricky
fella?
thing, too, is like when I start dating someone, they're going to Google my name, right? We Google, when you're dating someone nowadays, you Google them.
You do that, really?
Yeah.
You do not. Stop
It'd be
it.
stupid not to.
Stop
It'd be
it.
stupid
Is
not
that-
to. Honestly, it'd be stupid not to. You don't date men. That's why this doesn't occur to you.
Okay, I have dated men. Okay, let's clear that up.
Yeah, but not in a
Happy
long
Pride
time.
Month anyway, by the way.
Okay,
It's
yes, happy Pride Month. But not in when's the last time you dated a man?
in my 20s. So probably
Okay.
about 18 years ago was the last
That
time.
was pre-internet, okay? That was a long time. The internet was like just getting going by then.
You had to be in
Nowadays-
college to be on Facebook.
There's a Facebook group in this area, and there's probably one in Maine. There's probably one, it's probably caught on everywhere, but it's called "Are We Dating the Same Guy?" Yeah, and
There is totally one up here. I have quite a few friends on it.
yeah, and it's really important, honestly, as a woman, if you're dating, to be on it, because it's not to bash men. It is to highlight the men who are not safe, who are on these dating apps. And I've posted a picture of a guy that I was going to meet for a date like a few weeks ago. I posted his photo, and a bunch of women were like, stay away from him, blah, 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 blah. Like, yeah. And not that he was dangerous, but kind of just dishonest and manipulative and fake. And then another one I noticed the guy, I Googled him. I noticed he was friends with my friend on Instagram. And I texted my...
One of your 12,000.
My EverSense right now is vibrating. No, one of my local friends. My EverSense is vibrating right now because...
Is it telling you it's low?
Yeah, that I just
Is it going?
went under 65. It's just buzzing, and then you can't tell that this is red in real life. It looks white on the screen, but it's actually red.
Yeah.
So actually, I was on a walk in the woods with the fella that I'm dating, and he noticed it was blinking red, and I knew I had just had some glucose, and he's like, what does red mean? I was like, it means I'm low. And he's like, okay, we got to get you back and I was like, no, it's okay. I just had some glucose, but I like that he noticed it was red, right?
Was he like checking you out? Was he like he was probably checking out that
behind me on the trail.
He was probably checking out like your juicy tushy, and he was like,
no.
Oh
BJ,
my gosh,
this is a family show.
I
Sometimes.
know it is. Oh my gosh, sometimes, but we're also going to be real because we're humans, and
So,
I just wanted to say.
Wait, I sent the picture to my friend of this other person that I had just been chatting with on the Facebook dating app, and she was like, nope, stay away. He beat his last girlfriend. He is physically abusive. Yeah. So you
Give me
do
his
need
name.
to Google people. Yeah. I blocked him. I don't.
Thank you.
Done. Yeah. But you do need to Google people when you start dating them. So, long story short, sorry, you Google me and then you end up seeing a bajillion things about diabetes. And yeah, so I don't have to explain
Did he
much.
Google you? Did he Google you?
He's been living in the middle of the woods on this property that didn't even have internet or cell service for a while. He just got cell service yesterday, and he obviously goes into town where he has cell service, but he hasn't had a lot of time to like sit and just look at diabetes stuff. But I don't hide it, because if you don't like that, go away. It's that easy.
Yes.
So anyway,
Yes.
but
So
I try to just ease people into it. I just manage my diabetes in front of them. I don't minimize or hide. And here's the funny thing. He is terribly afraid of needles.
and you're a manual injection lady.
Yeah. And he's not afraid to see me give myself an injection, but he avoids healthcare because he's lucky. He's just really lucky that he doesn't need much healthcare. But, he's 6'4" and like 200.
How tall are you? Because I've hung out with you, but like
5'2".
Well, I was going to say, have you ever had anyone like, you're getting off a plane, you're meeting these people who follow you online. Have you had anyone be like, wow, I thought you were going to be a lot bigger in person?
Oh, absolutely.
Because like online, you're a huge personality.
I've had lots of people be like, I didn't realize you were so short.
They're like holding a sign.
You know
They're
who
like,
I can't wait to meet in real life from the T1D world is Neil Greathouse. Because I've worked with him a lot over the internet. I've never met him in real life, and he is like 6'4" or something, and it'd just be really funny. I didn't realize he was that tall. You know what I mean? And anyway.
Yeah. So going back to the dating scene. So we were talking about dating. You're newly single.
Oh, how we start teaching people. Yeah. So,
and you're
actually
newly
the other
single.
night at my house, I was eating something, and I said, hey, want to load up an 8-unit cartridge for my inhaler, my Afrezza, my inhaled insulin? And he was like, okay. Is that the green one? And I was like, yep. And he just loaded one right in, just like that. Thought that was pretty bold.
I love that.
He just didn't even question it. I just said, could you load up a green one? And I say that to my kids all the time. I'll be like if we're driving and I can tell that I'm going to need some insulin soon or something, I'll just hand my purse to my 8-year-old and be like, load up a green one, Violet. And she's like, okay. And she does it.
On it.
Yeah.
So we were talking about, I shared a little bit about like my date with my wife. And when do we tell a person
I don't know why you wouldn't tell right away. I don't know why you wouldn't.
Are you like, hi, I'm Ginger, I'm a diabetic? Because, well, and you're assuming.
It's so obvious also. But
no,
like,
it's not.
It should be. Well, if you're in a tank top, it's pretty hard to hide. Yeah.
Wait,
if
put yours
it's
up.
Winter, I could hide it. I could hide it more.
Look at us.
Why is yours bouncing off your arm?
Because I was in the sauna today. I had to put myself in timeout.
Is your infusion site connected?
Oh, yeah, that's going. That's hot.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah.
That's HOTTO to go. Hot to go.
Good.
Yeah. I can't.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're looking very diabetic on that arm.
Right. So anyways, we need to stay focused. We're talking about the beatus and telling people dating with diabetes. And my question to you, because my wife was actually my barista. That's how we met. She makes a hell of a cup of coffee. And I never was like, oh my God, I need coffee, I'm diabetic. So like I didn't tell her. She found out by me looking like I was going through alcohol withdrawals. And so when did you feel you needed to tell this guy who's actually very attentive, which I love him already, that he notices your colors are changing?
Yes.
So my question to you,
I don't. Where I suddenly decide to tell. Like, I don't know. I tell people in the dating app in conversation, because if you can't handle that or you're turned off by that, you're an idiot, and I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Well, and I know that you're
simple.
And I know even on some people's like Tinder profiles, they're so very open about it.
I have a photo on there. I don't know if it was on this one, but I think I have a photo where you can just see my arm.
Yeah.
And if a man is swiping and sees a medical device on my arm and that is a deal breaker for him, great. Fuck off.
Ginger, this is a family show, you just said.
I'm sorry. But
Sometimes.
they should teach that to their children.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Right. Well, and I remember hearing, because I've met your very witty twin brother, and I just remember his partner, she, in her profile picture, had and that was one of the first things he noticed.
Oh, that's why he reached out to her, too.
Yeah.
I mean, not why, but, and then she wasn't going to actually, she was like, I don't know, his pictures are weird, and because he's a quirky fella. But then he said, my sister has T1D, and she's like, oh, and that's why she agreed to go on a date with him.
Yeah.
So,
Right. So some people know right off the bat. So
I think you just, like everything else about you, you got to own who you are. And diabetes is part of who you are. And just own it. And the more you own it, the more attractive it is.
Yeah, it's very sexy to be confident.
To be confident in your chronic illness is sexy. It's attractive. I have diabetes. Let's put that aside and find out if you are worth dating now. Because my diabetes has nothing to do with whether I'm worth dating. I'm trying to figure out if you're worth my time.
Have you ever had anyone, though, be like, I'm not interested because you have this
I think if that was the
disease?
case, they would have already swiped away. I've never had someone find out I have diabetes and then go away, because also it's how you present it. Right?
Very true. Yeah.
Nothing about me looks ashamed to have diabetes.
Well, and I want to make one thing very clear, because I know that there's a lot of ignorant comments about people assuming they know what a diabetic looks like. Because I've had people say it to me, and I'm going to be ignorant for a minute. Ginger, you don't look diabetic.
I've totally received that, right? I think many of us have. You don't look like you have diabetes. You don't look like you're an idiot, but you are. That's my response to that.
Yeah. So when did you decide to tell your...
There was no decision. I don't consciously decide it. No, it just is like, it's like sometimes it's like, oh, what do you do for work? Or like, oh, I run a diabetes marketing agency. I have type 1 diabetes. I mean, it's within early conversations. I don't consciously decide. I just let it naturally work its way in.
So how long was it that until he found out?
I don't remember. It's not a big deal to me. It's not even a thing I think about. It's just like, oh yeah, this is the town I live in. I have type, you know what I mean? I don't even think about it.
Okay. So what do you expect from your partner?
Early on, I expect nothing, right? I mean, but it is a good gauge of like their personalities, and also a gauge of how interested they are in you, of how much they pay attention pretty early on to what's going on. And, you know, like, I don't know, and how they react to you taking an injection at the table.
Well, especially if you're dating someone who's scared of needles.
Yeah, he didn't have any, I said, does that freak you out that I'm taking an injection right in front of you? And he goes, no, as long as you don't come at me with the syringe or like chase me with it. I'm like, I would never chase someone with my insulin syringe.
You're like, do you know how much this stuff costs?
Yeah, no.
Like, I'm not gonna come at you. This is literally like, what is it? The sixth most expensive
But he thinks
liquid?
it's really cool that, because I'm trying to not give injections in this arm because that's where my Eversense is. And so
is there a rule on that?
No, I just don't want to. It's like, this is where I would have given a lot of injections, this exact location, right? And so I just kind of want to leave that area alone for now. And so I will very lazily, instead of switching the syringe to my other hand.
So wait, aren't you a right-handed person? Are you ready?
Yeah, this is my right hand. I know it's hard to tell on camera, but
oh, okay, yeah, because I'm like over here, I'm like lefty, righty.
Yeah.
I'm like,
so when I have a bad habit of, I've actually over-injected this arm because I'm too lazy I dropped the insulin, I have the syringe ready. I'm too lazy to bring it over to my left hand and then inject in my right arm.
Oh, I got
so
you.
I've over-injected in my left arm because I'm right-handed. So the other day, and what I've been doing a lot lately, honestly, since I got the Eversense, is just taking, like, I'm going to grab a syringe out of here and show you. I draw it up, right, and I have it ready, and then I don't even switch it. I just go like this and go and
really?
Push it in, just with my own arm bent over to my own arm. And that he found that very amusing because it's such a big deal for him to take an injection,
Yeah.
right? Receive an injection, that it was mind-blowing to him that it was that casual. I'm like, I'm doing it while I'm telling a story. He does have a friend with type 1 who's super athletic, and he thinks his friend refers to his CGM as a chip. His chip isn't reading, and I was like, I don't know. It could be. That could be how your friend refers to their CGM.
It could be.
It's not a chip. But yeah, so it could be how he does. He's not local. I don't know if I'll ever meet him, but yeah.
So he has a friend that has it, and so was
Which
it
helps,
ever
right? Because that immediately presents to you. He did ask me at one point. He said, "So it doesn't really like stop you?" And I was like, "Nope." And he got that right away. And then the rest, I feel like, is just letting them learn by managing diabetes in front of them.
I just want to be a little, and I know it's a family show sometimes. Well, was it kind of like he was like, hey, so it doesn't stop you?
Bobby Jean.
Well, because this is
I'm
something
not even going to acknowledge that.
Well,
No.
I just want to make it very clear because I have had my CGM go off while I'm getting it on.
Yeah, yes. Or in the middle of the night when you're sleeping. It's interrupting
but
other people's sleep. Yeah.
Because I was talking to a really good friend of mine, Lauren, which I hope she's listening. She's a former Tandem sales rep, and she's a type 1 diabetic. She's a total badass. I love this woman. She's incredible. She's my buddy that I hung out with on the Diabetes Sports Project, and she was always witty with me. Like, sometimes you have to take it off to get it on. Or so, it was something around those lines, like that, you know, and it's like, you know, and it was like, we talked about this marketing idea of like, you know, a couple and like, you know, you get sexy and then you also, like, you know, you're going to get it on.
Off your insulin?
Like, you know, you're going to get it on when you take it off.
Well, here's another reason to stay on MDI. Stay on injections. I don't have to skip my insulin to get it on.
Very true. So, like, you know, and you think about things like that because it is something you have to think about when you are getting sexual, or because sex is a physical activity that can impact your glucose levels.
Absolutely.
And you know, so it's
This
like,
seems
did
a
you?
whole different topic.
It does, but do you talk to
your?
your partner about that? Like, did you have that conversation with him?
No, I haven't. It hasn't come up yet. Like,
it hasn't come up yet.
Lows during sex. No. Hypoglycemia. Yeah. But it can happen.
Yeah, because it has happened to me. Yeah. Like you know, where
I don't have a lot of lows lately. I've got it pretty nailed down.
Except for literally at the beginning of this episode.
Right now. Yeah, and I'm still. It says I'm 59 right now.
Well, you're doing an excellent job. I'm not even going to tell you what mine says. So.
Oh no.
I'm not even going to tell you that.
Your rage bolus hasn't kicked in yet?
No, it's totally kicked in. I just don't want to show you what my levels are.
Oh, because you're super low and you should be lying down? Is that why?
No, that's not true at all. We're good.
This is so cryptic. Okay. Yeah. Hey, audience, guess what kind of near emergency BJ's in while she's filming
always.
this that she doesn't want to tell us.
Always, all the time.
Yeah.
But,
okay, how about today?
And well, and I was going to say, and part of the partner thing is that I share my information with my wife.
Okay.
And she gets the beeping to the point where even her coworkers are like, "What's going on with BJ?"
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about your long-term thing. We've done the early dating thing, but how involved is your wife in your diabetes management?
I'm just going to say my wife wishes she was more involved. She is very involved, but I feel at times, and I know that I'm not the only type 1 diabetic who may feel this way, and if any of our listeners do, that it can be a burden. Like for me, like I've always felt like I need to have more control of my diabetes, but she is involved. She's very involved. She's involved, but however, I will say that it took 12 years for me to feel comfortable enough for her to go pick up my insulin.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. there was a situation where I was at work because I work the 3 to 11:30, the second shift at the hospital, that I was like, I didn't have time to go get my insulin. Can you do it? And I was so nervous about it.
Was that because it was diabetes or because you were trusting?
Because
you were leaning on her for diabetes. You've never let anyone into your diabetes before.
Well, and also this is something that just my upbringing, like it was a very much, my mother made it very known that it was an inconvenience for her to go to the pharmacy, that I was very expensive.
Yeah.
So I kind of have it embedded in my head that I'm
Mother
working
of
on.
the year, is that?
As she is, good old Bonnie Jean. But it was one of those things that just growing up, I was very much informed of how much of a trouble I was with how expensive I was and the pharmacy and the doctor visits. Like, oh, we have to go to another doctor's visit. So I don't necessarily invite my wife to do these things, even though and last year was the first time she actually did a whole bunch of diabetes stuff. Like she went to the summit that you spoke at. She went to Friends for Life with me, and she's probably going to go with me this year. And she's had a great time, and it's so nice, and and more. So she's very involved. I just have to allow her, or allow myself.
She wants to be more involved, or you want her to be more involved? She wants to.
I have to be comfortable with her feeling that it's not a nuisance for my partner to be involved.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, you've been taught since childhood that you are a burden.
Yeah.
With diabetes,
Right. Okay. And I've always, and so for me, but like
you gotta let her love you. That's very sweet.
I know. And she wants to.
Sesh. Yeah.
Well, I want to, again, I know I brought them up in the past when we talked Blue Circle Health. I've been working on that with my therapy appointments with Blue Circle Health on my mental health with type 1 diabetes. Yeah. And that's one thing that my therapist is like you just said, allow your partner to be more involved in your management. And also, she's my emergency contact, so I should probably tell her what's going on.
For anybody who doesn't know, Blue Circle Health is amazing. It's a completely free resource. And
it's available in 10 states now.
10 states and probably more by the time this is published. Yeah. And it is. People think it's a scam because it sounds so incredible.
It's not. They've changed my life.
It's free diabetes education. It's like a 3-month course, right, BJ?
Now I get it for 6 months.
Oh, okay, 6 months.
Yep, 6 months.
That makes more sense. And it's just free diabetes education, diabetes support, therapy, nutrition, all the things that you need to thrive. Yep. It's like this 6-month super awesome program to get you feeling on top of your game.
And it's helped me with my relationships as well. And it's helped me with my thing because my therapist is actually like, BJ, you need to work through the traumas of your childhood and not project them to your wife and allow her to work with you. And it's been great because I am. And it's one of those things that, like you said, just let them love you. And so going with that, when I looked for a partner, I'm very thankful for mine because she loves me regardless of it and wants to be there for me. And actually,
or perhaps loves you in part because of it. Because
she loves you. She even has a little emoji for you. Ginger and my wife are best friends.
But yeah, I mean, it can be something that let's twist that. It can be something she really loves and admires about you, that is attractive about you because you deal with it every day like a badass. Oh, right? Diabetes can be sexy if you embrace it, and it doesn't mean your diabetes has to be perfect to be sexy, right?
Right.
But it can be really attractive because it highlights your fucking character and courage and resilience.
And I think it's really sexy that she wants to help me.
Yeah.
Well, and like, you are very, even though you call yourself the diabetes nerd, like we all know that, you were a competitive power lifter, if you will.
That's part of why I want nerds can be anything, right? You can be nerd and be a fitness gal.
Yeah, like look at Clark Kent. He was a total nerd. Like Superman was a total nerd, and then and it's one of those things that I find it very sexy for someone to care. It's sexy to care.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It sounds like it's sexy to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so. And I don't know if that's something you're looking for in your with your dating. What do you find attractive in a partner? Like, do you think it's attractive? Like, for example, with this gentleman that was walking with you, he noticed that you had the red light special.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that told me he's paying attention to...
Was that sexy?
Yeah, because it conveyed to me that he's paying attention, he cares, he's curious. It would... it's like a good sign that someone's asking questions. Mm-hmm. And you have to kind of let them know in early dating, like, you can ask questions. This isn't, right? Like, and then let them learn gradually without some diabetes presentation, Mm-hmm. But, like, my ex, who I was with for 7 years, he learned...
Were you guys together 7 years?
We were, yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. He knew, like, he's a quiet guy, as you know, you've met him.
Very quiet.
He knew lots and lots about insulin and diabetes. He knew kind of my bad habits. He knew when I was like, I have this high blood sugar, and he'd be like, don't take that much. He'd like stop me from taking
Rage-bolusing?
Yeah, from rage-bolusing.
Yeah.
And he'd check in, like, did you take your Lantus before going to bed? Like, he knew my weak spots of, like, I might get in bed and forget to take my long-acting, and he understood, and he was worried, inherently worried, mm-hmm. right, of the consequences of that. And I did have a couple bad lows in the middle of the night. That one time I woke up soaked in sweat, and I'd thrown all the sheets off, and the air conditioner was on. It was summer, and the room was freezing, but I was like 1,000 degrees. And he's like, you need to wake up. I think you're low. And I was like, no, I'm fine.
Yeah, which is very frustrating for our partners, because I do it to my wife all the time. I'm like, just let me sleep.
Yeah, I've done it to Tara when we were in the Dominican. She's like, you're low. You need to go eat something. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I don't care.
She's like, get your ass out of bed.
I was low. I was low, and I'd had 2 margaritas, and I was having fun in the pool. And she's like, you need to get. So she just like, man, she's like, eat this. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, he was like, you need to treat this low. And I was like, fine, okay. I ate like 10 Skittles because something switched in my brain like 10 years ago, I think around pregnancy stuff, where I just do not overtreat lows. And it's very rare that I overtreat a low. And he was like, 10 Skittles is not enough. You need to keep eating Skittles until you realize how cold it is in this room. Like, he knew that my body temperature needed to come up or come down, I guess. I was so hot, right? Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So he was an amazing T1D supporter, and I believe in just letting people learn gradually by doing diabetes in front of them, and encouraging them to ask questions.
And I also want to just make a statement about, because you ended things with your partner, that even though they may be great with your T1D, does not make them a great partner in other areas.
It's one part of the package, yes. It needs to be
and
a
like
lot
you can
of things. Yeah.
You can have someone know like your T1D inside and out, and they can care and things like that. I just want to make one thing clear, because I've been in a very unhealthy relationship in the past, but they were great with my T1D, but they were so dangerous outside that just because someone is really good with your T1D is not the excuse or the only reason to stay with someone.
Well, that could be said about a lot of things, right? It's the hard thing about breaking up with someone is there's always some good, because you wouldn't have been with them if there wasn't. Then
exactly. But I also want to just kind of piggyback with that, is that we're talking about things that are great about with diabetes and partners and having someone, but I also want to just reflect that even though they are really good at helping you with your T1D, and it's very safe with them in that T1D aspect. Yeah. Be mindful, though, it took you a few years to realize that this relationship you were in may not have been a healthy one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into that too much on this.
And I don't either. But I just want to reflect on that, because I've been someone who's been with someone who they may have known my T1D inside and out, but when we were in other situations.
It's one aspect of a person. It's not and there was that Netflix movie. She needed to get married to someone to get health insurance so she could afford her insulin.
Have you? The military movie.
It was, yeah, we don't even get into that. But that's a real thing, too. Of
It is. Oh, my gosh, of course.
When
Absolutely.
I was going through divorce, my ex understood, like, we waited to really file the paperwork because he understood, like, I'm going to be without health insurance.
Right.
And this is before the Affordable Care Act kicked in.
Yeah.
And so I'm self-employed. I have good health insurance. I don't need to worry about staying in a marriage for health insurance. But it's a real thing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Total giant side topic. But yeah.
Yeah, but we are talking about partners and with T1D, and, and it's one thing that, while talking about that, is that relationships can be difficult and exciting and things like that.
Let's hit on boundaries because I don't want my partner to be all up in my diabetes. I don't want I've never had a partner who is tracking my blood sugars data. Tara.
Are you for real?
Tara does, but she knows to never comment on it.
Yeah.
So Tara is my bestie, is connected to my CGM data.
Right.
But she knows zero comments. I don't want to hear about it. When we first started, Tara and I were basically married.
Right.
Yeah. And when we first started, she was connected right away, and I took it off, and it tells you, if you don't plug it into the charger, it tells you, like, hey, you're disconnected after 5 minutes. And she's getting the alerts on her phone for the first time ever, and she's like, it disconnected. You're not getting data. And I'm like, no, I took it off. It's okay. Oh, okay. So she had to learn, like, that didn't mean that because we were just worried. Is it going to fail? It just got implanted in my arm. Mm-hmm. And is it going to work? Can we trust it? Right? We were just learning this new thing. So that was funny. But I've never shared it with the partner I live with. And I don't feel the need to. I don't want to hear from you about my blood sugars. I don't want to hear from Tara about my blood sugars, but I like knowing that she's seeing what kind of day I had, right? Mm-hmm. And it's fun knowing that she sees it, but I don't need her commentary. I don't need anyone's commentary on my diabetes.
Why is that?
What are they going to do for me? I don't need extra thinking about it. I'm
just
already
let you know they
about
care.
It.
They just let you know they care.
I know she cares. She shows me she cares lots of ways. She brings me bags of pixie sticks to treat lows, but I don't need. And she'll say things like, I hardly get alerts from you because you're doing such a great job, like.
Oh, that's sweet.
Or she'll, I have posted a video where I'm like, I suck at managing diabetes today. I'm doing a terrible job. And she's like, why are you saying that? And I'm like, because I've been stuck at 250. And she goes, well, are you trying to correct it? I'm like, yes, but it's not working. And she's like, well, it sounds to me like you're doing everything you can, which means you're not doing a terrible job. So she supports me in lots of ways. Yep. She'll even, if we go out, which we often do, and then we both go home, she'll call me about 20 minutes later and say, don't forget to take your Lantus. Because she knows it's a weak spot of mine. Yeah. And so there's ways to support someone that feel good to the person. What would never feel good to me is you commenting on my blood sugar and be like, what's your blood sugar? Oh my God, you're at 180? Oh, you're 90? Yeah, that would just annoy the hell out of me and stress me out. And it's not helpful, right? So I think that setting boundaries with your partner and telling them, let them love you, right? Which means you need to give them ways to show they care. Yep. But if you don't like the ways they instinctively come up with, then tell them, hey, you know what would feel really supportive? Remind me to take my long-acting, but please don't comment on the alerts coming through my phone unless you think I'm in severe danger.
Yeah, and one thing I think is really sexy, to go back to that, is there's been times where my wife gets my notifications and she'll just come in with a glass of almond chocolate milk. And she'll just see me on the couch, and then she won't even say a word, and she'll just look at me and just hand me a glass of chocolate milk, and I'm just like, oh.
And how does she know that you didn't already take action to treat it? She
who
just
cares? I don't
knows
care if I already did. The fact that she's acknowledging and being sweet about it, like, it's just like when I cook a shitty meal and she's sitting there eating it, and she just is like, doesn't say a word, but maybe she's like spitting it up in her napkin. Like, do you remember like back in the day? Like, I remember like going out.
Do we need cooking lessons here? This sounds terrible.
But like, I remember like even like, eating other people's cookings. Like, my wife's a great cook. Like, where I'd like spit my food in my napkins, and that's just like a joke. But do you know what I mean? Where it's like, you're just like the fact that she just even went out of her way and she didn't say anything. She didn't do anything. She carries low snacks in her car.
Yeah, Tara.
Even though we have two separate, geez, damn, Tara sounds like a great wife.
Tara's a great wife. Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? It's like those things where she's not like, you need to eat this.
Yeah,
you're a bad diabetic. It's like just the fact that
oh my god,
oh my god, she
understands this is real life, and you're
like she'll come in with a snack or something.
Versus the people that don't know you as well, or the friends that are like, oh my god, you low?
Yeah,
what do you need? I can't believe I had a friend say to me, is it really safe for? This is when my kids were little and I was married. Is it really safe for him to leave you at home alone with the kids?
What?
Yeah. Yes, I can parent my children. Thank you.
I really can. I gave birth to them, actually, too. Yes, it's another thing that people, like...
Look at me go.
And you have the cutest kids, by the way. I love your kids.
Thank you.
They're so cute. They are good kids.
Well, all right. We're going to wrap this up because we're hitting 40 minutes and I have a meeting in 10 minutes.
Oh, my gosh. I'll see you in 10. Well, I'm glad we talked. I miss you wicked. And it's one of the, and I just want to like follow up with that is that, it took me years to be comfortable with my diabetes, and my wife was, and I like the little things that really add up. Like one time having a sugar low and they offer you their jacket or their hoodie, because you're sweating so bad. Yeah. I'm just like, that's sexy.
Let her love you. I think that's the theme. Let her love you. Let them love you.
Exactly. And I think you should do the same. And I am loving your stand up.
Thank you.
And I think it's really funny the way you present it in the dating world. And I hope you find happiness and things work out and you get out there.
Thank you.
And let people see your light. And by light, I mean the flashing red one.
Oh, very clever.
Yeah.
All right. I love you, BJ.
Buddy.
Good to see you.
I love you too. You too. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.